Hello and welcome to my channel. Today's video we will be making this little mermaid. We can make it look like a little girl, or we can cut its hair shorter. We can make it look more like a boy. We can do it in non-traditional colors, or you can choose to make it in a color and a skin color to make it more like the traditional mermaid with a more conventional hair color. It is basically a no-sew pattern. We'll start with the fin. We'll go all the way up through the tail, go into the body, add the arms as we go, and then do the head. So we will have to sew, embroider the mouth, the eyebrows, the little whites on the eyes. And then if you want to do the little V's on the tail, or little stripes on the arms like this one. And when I'm finished with you, you will be right to here, and I will leave you to do the rest of the hair and then whatever little embellishments you want to do. This is a crochet along, so I will be doing every stitch with you except for about the 7 repeat rows in the head. But if you get lost or I do something you don't understand, there will be a little drop down with the pattern instructions for the first 30 seconds of every row that you can refer back to. And if you like my videos, make sure you hit the subscribe button and you will be notified every time I load a new video. I think that's it. So grab your yarn and let's get started. Okay, we're going to start with the arms, and you're just going to make your knot with the loop on the end as if you're going to chain. And you can start any way you want as long as you have the same amount of stitches for row 1. So to begin, you're going to insert your hook, grab your yarn, pull it up and through, chain 1. And that just attaches your yarn to your loop. That does not count as a stitch. And for row 1, you're going to do 6 single crochets into the loop. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now grab your stitch marker if you're using one. And for round 2, you're going to do 6 increases. So that's 2 single crochets in every stitch all the way around for a total of 12. So increase 1 and 2, increase 3 and 4, increase 5 and 6, increase 7 and 8, increase 9 and 10, and your last increase 11 and 12. For rounds 3 and 4, we're just going to do 12 single crochets all the way around, and I'm going to do them consecutively. So 12 times 2 is 24. So we're going to go around twice doing 24 and flip our marker when we hit our first set of 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, flip your marker, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. All right, for round 5, we're going to do a puff stitch of 4 in the first stitch and then 11 single crochets all the way around for a total of 12. If you find you can't do this puff stitch, you can just do a single crochet and you just won't have the little thumb. All right, so yarn over into that first stitch, grab your yarn, pull up and through, that's once, yarn over into the same stitch, grab your yarn, pull up and through, that's 2, yarn over, down into that same stitch, grab your yarn, pull up and through, and that was 3, and one more time, yarn over, down into that same stitch, grab your yarn, pull up and through. And now you are going to grab your yarn and you're going to go through all the loops that you have on your hook. If you happen to catch some of these in here, you're better off taking it all out and redoing it than trying to kind of sort what kind of mess that you ended up with. Okay, so that was stitch 1. We need 11 more. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Round 6, we're going to do 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, and repeat that all the way around for a total of 8. So single crochet for 1 and a decrease for 2, and then just repeat that all the way around. Single crochet, 3, decrease, 4, single crochet, 5, decrease, 6, single crochet, 7, and a decrease for 8. For row 7 to 15, we're just going to do 8 single crochets all the way around, and that's 9 rows I'm going to separate mine into 3 sets of rows. So I'm going to count to 24 3 times, and then just flip my stitch marker every time I hit a row of 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then keep on counting. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Keep on counting. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. So that was my first 3 rows of 9. I'm going to start at 1 again and go to 24. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Keep on counting. Whoops. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Keep on counting. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. So that's 6 of our 9 rows. So I'm going to start at 1 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Keep on counting. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Keep on counting. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So that should be 9 rows of 8. And if you just want to check your row count, you should have 15 rows. So if you start down where you made your first loop, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So now we can take our stitch marker out if you used one. And we are going to stuff your arm. Now I already stuffed this one, but what I did was I took 2 chunks of stuffing so that I had the same amount for each one. So I used the first chunk in there, and now I still have my second chunk to use up. And I'm just going to split it in half. And I'm going to put the first half right down into the bottom of the hand. So you get kind of that round shape down there. Okay, go in. I got it balled up kind of. There we go. So you want that round shape, and then if you want your arm to be on the flatter side, just put a little bit down here, and if you want it to be more like this so it sticks out, put it all the way up. So I'm just gonna kind of put most of it on the bottom and let a little bit kind of hang out at the top. Don't put so much in that your stitches start spreading, and then you can just double check if you're on your second one. And then we are just going to fold it in half with our stitch on the right side. And we're going to go in that first stitch, and then the matching stitch on the back side under both sides of that V. Try and show you there. So there's one side and your other side. And you're going to grab your yarn, pull through both of those sides, tighten it up a bit, and make 1 single crochet. And you're going to do that 2 more times for a total of 3 single crochets. That's 2, and then 1 more time in the end, making sure you get through both sides. Give it a bit of a pull, and then you can just tie that off. And leave a little bit of a tail. Even though we're not sewing these on, I do use the tails when I'm closing everything up to kind of secure the arms a little bit. If you've just finished your first arm, I will put a little screenshot in the next frame with a timestamp so you can go back to the beginning of this arm and do your second one. And if you've already completed your second one, just keep on watching for the next part. Alright, we're going to start with the tail now. So leave a bit of a tail and make your knot with the loop on the end because we are going to be chaining. Insert your hook, and we are going to chain 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now starting in your second chain from the hook, we are going to do 11 single crochets all the way back down. So not the first one, but the second one. And I'm going to go in the top part of the chain. 11 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then that last one, 11. And you're going to chain 1 and turn. Row 2, you're going to do 9 single crochets and then 1 decrease at the end for a total of 10. And you're going to be going in the back loops. So when you go normally, you'll go under the V's. So this time you're going to go down into the V and then out the back. And we're going to be starting in this first stitch after our chain 1. 1, 2, remember they're all back loops. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then you're going to do your decrease in the back loops like the whole rest of the row, and the whole bottom part of the tail will be in the back loops. Now you're going to chain 1 and turn. Now continuing in the back loops, row 3 is going to be 1 decrease and 8 single crochets. So decrease and 8 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Chain 1 and turn your work. Row 4 is going to be 7 single crochets and 1 decrease. Remember in the back loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and a decrease. Oops, I went through 2 there somehow. There we go. And then chain 1 and turn. Row 5 is going to be 1 decrease and 6 single crochets. So decrease and 6 single crochets, all in the back loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, chain 1 and turn. Row 6 is going to be 5 single crochets and 1 decrease, all in the back loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a decrease. Chain 1 and turn. Row 7 is going to be 1 decrease and 4 single crochets. So decrease in the back loops and 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4, chain 1 and turn. Row 8 is going to be 3 single crochets and 1 decrease. Remember back loops. 1, 2, 3, and a decrease. Chain 1 and turn. Row 9 is going to be 1 decrease and 2 single crochets. So decrease, remember back loop only, and 2 single crochets. Chain 1 and turn. Row 10 is going to be 3 single crochets, all in the back loops. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1 and turn. And now we're going to start increasing. Row 11, you're going to do 1 increase and 2 single crochets. Still staying in the back loops, so increase 1 and 2, and then 2 single crochets. 1, 2. Chain 1 and turn. Row 12 is going to be 3 single crochets, 1 increase. So 1, 2, 3, and an increase. So 1 and 2 in the same stitch. Chain 1 and turn. Row 13 is going to be 1 increase and 4 single crochets. So increase in the back loop, 1 and 2 in the same stitch, and then 4 single crochets, all in the back loops. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Chain 1 and turn. Row 14 is 5 single crochets and an increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and an increase. 1 and 2 in the same stitch. Chain 1 and turn. Row 15 is going to be 1 increase, 6 single crochets, again all in the back loop. So increase, 1 and 2 in the same stitch, and 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Chain 1 and turn. Row 16, it's going to be 7 single crochets, 1 increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and an increase. 1 and 2 in the same stitch. Chain 1 and turn your work. Row 17, it's going to be 1 increase and 8 single crochets. So increase 1 and 2, and then your 8 single crochets, again all in the back loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Chain 1 and turn. Row 18 is going to be 9 single crochets and 1 increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and your increase. 1 and 2 in the same stitch. Chain 1 and turn. Row 19 is going to be 1 increase and 10 single crochets, all in the back loop. So increase 1 and 2 in the same stitch, and then 10 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then chain 1. For row 20, we are going to do 5 single crochet decreases across the top of the fin, and we are going to go into this little hole behind the ridge, over the bump, and then into the next hole. So our first half of our decrease will start right here. We'll go over the bump into the next bigger hole behind the ridge, and then we'll finish off our decrease. So each decrease will be 2 holes. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. So insert your hook right behind that ridge in that first hole. Grab your yarn, pull up and through, and that's the first half of your decrease. Go over this bump into this next hole behind the ridge. Put in your second half of your decrease, and then grab your yarn and pull through all 3 loops. So that's 1 over the bump, your first half of your decrease over the bump, second half of your decrease behind the ridge, grab your yarn, pull through, and that's 2. Now over the bump into that next hole behind the ridge for your first half, over the bump into the next hole behind the ridge for your second half of your decrease, and then pull through to finish off. That's 3. Over the bump, first half of your decrease behind that ridge, over the bump, second half in that hole behind the ridge, grab your yarn and pull through. That's 4. Over the bump into that next hole behind the ridge for your first half of your decrease, over the bump, and then when you go to do this last half, instead of going in this stretched out stitch, I go 1 down, just so it's not quite as uneven when you get doing the next part. So that's 5 single crochet decreases, and your fin should now kind of look like this. Okay, now we're going to set our rows up so that we can start crocheting in the round. For the next round, we'll be turning, and then we'll be going in the front of those 5 single crochets you just made, and then we're going to go around, turn it around again, and we're going to be going in the back side. It's going to look like the front side because it's facing us, but it'll be the back side of these loops. So what I want to do to make this a lot easier to find those loops when we flip it around is you're going to take some kind of marker. I'm going to use paper clips. You can use a stitch marker, bobby pins. You can use thread if you don't have anything else. And what we're going to do is the first stitch behind the hook, we're going to put a clip or something in. And then we're going to do the next stitch, and we're going to do all 5 of those stitches. And this will be the back side when we get to it. So just keep going till you get all 5 in. And we got one more here. So now when we turn it around, we're going to know where these stitches are if we can't tell where the line is. Okay, so we've turned it so all our marked stitches are on the back, and we're going to go in the front of the first one. We're going to do 1 single crochet in the front loop facing us. Next one, 2 single crochet, next one, 3 single crochet, next one, 4 single crochet, and our last one, 5. We're going to have 10 all the way around, so that's 5 on this side. Flip your piece around to where you marked all your stitches, and now you can see the back side of those stitches you made. So I'm going to take them out one by one as I go. So our first stitch is going to go in there. So these are it's going to look, the back loops, but they're actually going to look like front loops to us because they're on this side now. So that's, that'll be 7. No, that'll be 6. Sorry. And then 7. Take your next one out. So this should be 8. Take your next one out. So this will be 9. And then take your last one out. And that'll be your 10th stitch. That was row 21, and we should have 10 stitches all the way around. And then when we turn it, we'll be ready to start going in the round. So I'm going to grab a stitch marker. Okay, so for row 22, we're going to do 4 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that again for a total of 12. This first stitch is a little tricky to get into. If you somehow miss it, don't worry. Just make sure you count your stitches, and when you get to the end of this row, you're just going to add, do an increase. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and increase 5 and 6. And then repeat that again. 7, 8, 9, 10, and your increase 11 and 12. So just make sure you have 12 single crochets in that row, and then you move on to the next one. For rows 23 to 25, you're just going to do 12 single crochets all the way around, and I'm going to do those consecutively. So 3 times 12 is 36, so I'm going to count to 36 and then just flip my marker every time I hit a set of 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm flipping my marker and I'm going to keep on counting. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, flip my marker and keep on counting, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and 36. So that was our 3 rows of 12. Row 26, we are going to do 3 single crochets, 1 increase for a total of 15. So 1, 2, 3, and an increase, 4 and 5. And repeat, 6, 7, 8, and an increase, 9 and 10. And repeat that one more time. 11, 12, 13, and an increase, 14 and 15. So it's a good thing I ended up having to make 2 tails, because somehow I missed hitting record on row 27. So I just had to undo, half this tail so I could come back and re-video it. So for row 27, you're just going to do 15 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah. Row 28, you're going to do 4 single crochets, 1 increase for a total of 18. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and an increase, 5 and 6. And again, 7, 8, 9, 10, and an increase, 11 and 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, and an increase, 17 and 18. Row 29, we're just going to do 18 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Row 30, we're going to do 5 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 21. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and an increase, 6 and 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and an increase, 13 and 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and an increase, 20 and 21. Row 30, you're just going to do 21 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, whoop, I gotta go back. I don't know what stitch I'm on, but is it 18, 19, 20, and 21. Row 32 is going to be 6 single crochets, 1 increase for a total of 24. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and an increase, 7 and 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and an increase, 15 and 16. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and an increase, 23 and 24. Row 33, we're going to do 3 single crochets, 1 increase, for a total of 30. So 1, 2, 3, and an increase, 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8, and an increase, 9 and 10, 11, 12, 13, and an increase, 14 and 15, 16, 17, 18, and an increase, 19 and 20, 21, 22, 23, and an increase, 24 and 25, 26, 27, 28, and an increase, 29 and 30. Rows 34 to 36, we're just going to do 30 single crochets all the way around. So that's 3 rows of 30, which is 90 single crochets. So I'm going to go to 90 consecutively and then just flip my marker every time I hit 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Flip my marker and keep on counting. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, flip my marker, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, and 90. Row 37, you're going to do 3 single crochets, 1 decrease, repeat that all the way around for a total of 24. 1, 2, 3, and a decrease for 4, 5, 6, 7, and a decrease for 8, 9, 10, 11, and a decrease for 12, 13, 14, 15, and a decrease for 16, 17, 18, 19, and a decrease for 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. Okay, now we're going to start our last kind of tricky row, and we're going to do these spikes. And when I did these spikes, I started my spikes right where I ended. But when I was doing this one, my halfway was a couple stitches off. So I'm going to show you how to make sure they're both on the sides. Plus, really, this first one could be forward because the arms always, the arms kind of covers it. So we're going to bring them a little forward too. So we're just going to change it up a little bit. So grab 2 little scraps of yarn. And I'm going to put the first one on the side, just the first stitch in the front here, because this is where I want my first spike to be. And then you're going to go on the other side. Each spike is going to take 4 stitches. So I'm going to come where I want the spike to end on this side, and I'm going to count 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and in that 4th stitch, that's where I'm going to put my other marker. And that is where, each marker is where we're going to slip stitch and then chain for our spike. So if we ended our spikes on this side here, we're going to slip stitch to our next marker and then go up with our chains for our spikes. So don't worry about the amount of stitches you have anywhere except for where you're going to start your chains. And all of this will make a lot more sense as we're doing it. Okay. So you're going to start by slip stitching in the front loops, and this whole row is in the front loop and slip stitches. So I have 2 slip stitches, 1 and 2 in the front loops. And then when I get to my stitch marker, I have another slip stitch. And now I'm going to chain. So we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in the second loop from, or second chain from the hook, you're going to do 4 single crochets down. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're going to slip stitch in the next stitch. And now you're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then in the second chain from the hook, you're going to do 3 single crochets down. 1, 2, and 3, and then slip stitch in that front loop. And then now you're going to do chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and in that second chain from the hook you're going to do 2 single crochets down. Whoop, almost slip stitched. 1, 2. Now you're going to slip stitch in the front loops till you get to your marker for the next batch of spikes. So for me it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is where my marker is. Yours might be different, don't worry, as long as you're happy with where your spikes are sitting. So now we're going to chain up and we're going to go backwards from this side. So we are going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 2 single crochets starting in the second chain from the hook. So 1 and 2. Then you're going to slip stitch in the next stitch. Make sure you're staying in the front loop only, because we are going to need those for the next row. And now you're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and in the second chain from the hook going down you're going to do your 3 single crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Then you're going to slip stitch in the next front loop, and you're going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in that second chain from the hook you're going to do 4 single crochets down. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you're just going to slip stitch now all the way around till you get back to your last stitch of the round. I'm going to count it just in case you're in the same spot as me, but if you're not, don't worry about your stitch count. Make sure in the front loops also. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Just behind your last decrease of the last row. Oops, I forgot we were changing colors here, so take that last slip stitch out, reinsert your hook, and then just go under but don't pull through, and then we'll grab our next color. I'm going to be doing mine in a different shade of purple, but if you're doing a more traditional one, you'll be grabbing some kind of a skin color. So you're just going to tie that nice and close to the hook. I usually do it about 3 times. And then grab your new color and just pull it through that last slip stitch. And we can cut that purple off. We're done with that for now. And now we want to go in these back loops. You'll see, let's take all this out in our way here. You'll see all this line, that's the back loop of you going in the front loops of the last row. So you're going to use those as your next stitches. And we're going to do 24 single crochets all the way around using those back loops of the previous row. So make sure you get in the first one. It's going to be this one right here. And just single crochet around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and just take your time, make sure you're getting in the right stitches. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, oops, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. And I should have said this at the beginning, but if you notice I was kind of rolling mine down, that helps you see those that line of stitching a little better if you're struggling with that. Okay, I'm going to switch my bottoms out because I originally videoed this one and then I thought it was too dark. So now that I have my first row of light, I'm gonna come back. What's the next row? Row 40 to 45. I'm gonna come back and do on this one. So I will see you in a few minutes. Okay, now I'm happy. My whole day has just been fixed. Cindy knows. Okay, so now we are going to start rows 40 to 45, and they're going to be 24 single crochets around. I'm going to do 2 rows at a time, so I'm going to go to 48 3 times. So begin with 1. Whoops, am I in the right? Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. And I'm going to flip my marker and keep on counting. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48. Flip your marker. So that was 2 rows of 6, and I'm going to start at 1 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Flip the marker and keep on counting. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48. So that's 4 of our 6 rows of 24. So now I'm going to start again back at 1. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, flip the marker and keep on counting, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, and 48. And that should be 6 rows of 24. Row 46, you're going to do 2 single crochets, 1 decrease, and repeat that all the way around for a total of 18. 1, 2, no, my needle's starting to squeak, 1 second. Okay, so we have 1 and 2, and then a decrease for 3. 4, 5, and a decrease for 6, 7, 8, and a decrease for 9, 10, 11, and a decrease for 12, 13, 14, and a decrease for 15, 16, 17, and a decrease for 18. Okay, now we're going to add the arms, but just in case we are not on the same spot where our rounds are ending, you're going to lay it flat, make sure your tail's flat, come up, make sure your spikes are kind of even, and then make sure the top goes up, and then you want to find your sides. So I'm going to make, I think I'm going to make this one my side. Let me get my little thing. So this is going to be my side. That'll be my middle stitch of 3 in my arm. So I'm going to go back towards my stitch marker 1 stitch, and that's where my arm is going to start. So I'm going to put a little marker in there. So you have 3 stitches in your arm, 1, 2, and 3. And then you're going to have 6 stitches between your arms. So you're going to count 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that next stitch, the 7th stitch, is going to be where your second arm starts. So put a little marker in there. And then now your arm should come out evenly when you get going around. Okay. So don't worry about how many stitches I have compared to how many stitches you have. Just pay attention to where you put those markers. So for me, I have 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and my next stitch is marked, so that's where I'm going to start my arm. So grab your arm with the thumbs facing towards the front, because this is our back. So thumbs to the front and strings to the front should be. And you're going to go through the first stitch of your arm. And the next stitch of your body. So this stitch right here. That was your last stitch, so this is your next stitch. And do 1 single crochet. Pull that tight if you need to. And then do a 2nd single crochet through the arm and through the body. And then do your 3rd single crochet through the arm and then through the next stitch. Sorry, these strings are in the way. Next stitch of the body. Now you should have 6 single crochets across the front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and you're right back, should be right where your marker is for your next arm. So grab your other arm, and this time, since you're at the front, you're going to want your thumb and your string facing towards you. So you're going to go in that first single crochet of the arm, and then the next single crochet of the body. Pull it tight if you need to, and then just continue on. Your second one through the arm and through the body, and your 3rd one through the arm and through the next stitch of the body. And we should have about 3 left for me, because I did 3 on the other side. Yep. Don't worry if yours is different, as long as you're right back to your stitch marker. So that's 1, 2, and 3. And you should have had a total of 24 stitches in that row if you need to go back and count. And now row 48, we're going to be starting the head, and we're going to do 2 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 24. So 1, 2, and an increase, 3, and 4. And just repeat that same pattern. 5, 6, and an increase, 7 and 8. And don't go over these strings because we are going to use them later. Just let them hang around there. 9, 10, and an increase, 11 and 12, 13, 14, and an increase, 15 and 16, 17, 18, and an increase, 19 and 20, 21, 22, and an increase, 23 and 24. Row 49, you're going to do 3 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 30. 1, 2, 3, increase, 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8, increase, 9 and 10, 11, 12, 13, and an increase, 14 and 15. 16, 17, 18, and an increase, 19 and 20, 21, 22, 23, and an increase, 24 and 25, 26, 27, 28, and an increase, 29, and 30. Row 50, we are going to do 4 single crochets, 1 increase for a total of 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, and an increase, 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and an increase, 11 and 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, and an increase, 17 and 18. 19, 20, 21, 22, and an increase, 23 and 24. 25, 26, 27, 28, and an increase, 29 and 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, and an increase, 35 and 36. Row 51, you're going to do 5 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 42. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and an increase, 6 and 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and an increase, 13 and 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and an increase, 20 and 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and an increase, 27 and 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, and an increase, 34 and 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, and an increase, 41 and 42. Okay, rows 52 to 58, you're just going to be doing 42 single crochets all the way around. And I think I'm going to let you do that on your own, and I'm going to do mine off camera. Give my voice a little bit of a break. So that's 7 rows of 42, and I will meet you back here to start row 59. Alright, before we get too far here, let's add our eyes and then our stuffing. So you're just going to make your mermaid nice and flat. Lining up all the pieces on the sides. Find your center. So about right here is my center. I'm just going to throw a little pin in there. Let's go with yellow. So about right here. Have a look at it, and for me, I feel like it needs to go over at least one more. 1, 2, 3, and up. Yeah, so I think that's about center right there. Now I'm using 14mm eyes. And I'm going to go down 1, 2 rows. So I'm right in this batch of rows right here. So I went down 1, 2. And I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3, about 4 stitches from the center pin I have, and 4 on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Have a quick little look at it. If you feel like you're in the center, take this time to put your backs on. Listen for those clicks. Oh, that clicked good, that one. I think I'm done with my pin. And then let's put some stuffing in there. So this one I didn't stuff too heavily, but then when I got to the head, I did a little bit more of a firmer job just for the face sculpting. So just little batches all the way down. You want to make sure you get right to the point of the tail first, and then you can lighten up your stuffing, because you want that bottom to be filled, but don't push it so full that you start opening your stitches, especially if you have a dark yarn like I do right now. And kind of push them a bit to the side. Fill up the body. Take it a little easy when you get to the neck so you don't stretch those stitches out. I'm going to put a tiny little bit in the head, but not too much, because I tend to lose my tension when I get too much stuffing close to where I'm crocheting. So about like that for now. Maybe that's a little too much. I might take it out once I get going. So grab your needle again, and we will, I'm going to have to move this a bit, I think. Actually, I'm going to take that right out. I can go back in later. Now we will continue on with row 59. And we'll be doing 5 single crochets, 1 decrease, for a total of 36. Okay, oops, my lights are all in my way here. Leave that one there for now. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a decrease for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and a decrease for 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and a decrease for 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and a decrease for 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and a decrease for 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and a decrease for 36. Row 60, you are going to do 4 single crochets, 1 decrease. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 30. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and a decrease for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and a decrease for 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and a decrease for 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and a decrease for 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and a decrease for 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and a decrease for 30. Okay, row 61, we're going to do 3 single crochets, 1 decrease, repeat that all the way around for a total of 24. 1, 2, 3, and a decrease for 4. 5, 6, 7, and a decrease for 8, 9, 10, 11, and a decrease for 12, 13, 14, 15, and a decrease for 16, 17, 18, 19, and a decrease for 20, 21, 22, 23, and a decrease for 24. For row 18, you're going to do 2 single crochets, 1 decrease, repeat that all the way around for a total of 18. 1, 2, and a decrease for 3, 4, 5, and a decrease for 6, 7, 8, and a decrease for 9, 10, 11, and a decrease for 12, 13, 14, and a decrease for 15, 16, 17, and a decrease for 18. Now we're going to put some more stuffing in. This time you want to fill most of the head, but just leave enough space that you can still crochet on top, and then we'll put a little bit in at the very end to fill it up all the way. So fairly firm, remember. You don't really have to do a lot of shaping with the stuffing, but just make sure it's going into more of a ball shape than like one side's, you want one side poofed out, like squished over like that, and one side flat. So just kind of a little bit of a ball shape. And I think I'm going to leave it there to finish off my stitches. Alright, now you're going to have to bear with me a bit here. I'm doing this with my arms stretched straight out, and it's going to look very awkward, but yours should be a lot easier. Alright, so row 63, you're going to do 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, repeat that all the way around for a total of 12. So 1 decrease for 2, 3, decrease for 4, 5, decrease, whoops, stuffing for 6, 7, decrease for 8, 9, decrease for 10, 11, and decrease for 12. This is why I usually start most of my things from the top of the head down, because it's so hard to get your decreases to look nice, and you see this part usually, but since this is having hair, I'm not too concerned because we're going to cover it all. So if your decreases are messy, don't worry about it too much, because our hair is going to cover that. Okay, row 64, we're going to do 6 decreases. So 1 decrease, 2, decrease again for 3, another decrease for 4, decrease again for 5, and another decrease for 6. And then you can just slip stitch into the next stitch and tie that off, leaving a little bit of a tail to sew the top of the head closed. Now if you need a little more stuffing in there, you can add a little bit more if you're careful with that hole, but you'll probably need assistance from, I like to use, I don't have it up here, I like to use the end of my Bic pen, but it's downstairs. I'm just going to have to use my hook, but it's not going to, you know what, I'm going to run and grab it, because it's way easier. Okay. I'm just gonna kind of push it around, hopefully evenly, or if there's a spot that's kind of seems light or concave. Like I can't really do this through the camera, but am I getting anywhere? Yeah, this is more of a hold it close to you kind of a job. There we go. Okay, I think that's good enough. So it's a little bit squishy. Could be a little firmer up top, but it's definitely firmer than that guy, so I think I'm okay with that. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I'm not far enough along to forget anything yet. So I'm going to take my stitch marker out, and then I'm going to sew this top up. So I'm just going to weave in and out of the top loop. Go back and forth. And when you pull this tight, because you want, the way I add hair, I want 6 pieces of hair to go in here. So they're going to go around here. So in here and up there, and then they're going to wrap around. So I want to make sure I have a little bit of a hole there still, so I can get my crochet hook in there for my top hairs. Otherwise you get a bald spot up there if you can't get, it's going to be hard to remember where that is. So just tie your knot once or twice. I'm going to do twice. Not a very good knot, but then I'm just going to hide it down in there. Actually, I might even go in the center and then out through the back somewhere. If I can get it in the hole. And then that way I know that's my center hole there, because see, there is quite a mess of holes there. If I was making a bear or something, I wouldn't want it to look like that at the top of the head. So, unfortunately, most of my patterns I got to make the 2 legs on the bottom. Okay, and then we're going to take our arm strings and I'll show you what I do with them. If you've watched my videos before, you already are probably a pro at this. But if you've never seen me do it this way, what I'm going to do is where the arm was attached, I'm going to go down into that hole and out the back, kind of right along the neckline. Take the other string and do the exact same thing. Sometimes you might want to double check that it doesn't look funny going around, because you're, see, yeah, see, I'm going to go down one on this one. So right where your stitch, last stitch of your arm is, in that hole, and then back out the same hole that your other arm string came out. And then you're going to tie it one time. Not tight, so just nice and loose, keeping these strings on the same sides. turn your guy around. Now you're going to pull those strings to pop these arms in. So just like that. And then that way, they kind of bring his neck in, and they're also not as wobbly as they would have been. And when you're happy with how tight you've got it, careful not to break your yarn, and then give it a couple of ties to secure that. And then you'll put that back in the body somewhere. So just go back in that same hole you came out of, and then out back somewhere in the light color so you don't see it in the dark color. Cut that off. And I didn't pull it too tight, so I'm just going to tuck that little end back in the hole. And then, I don't know what you want to do with this. I should have tried to get the knot on the inside when I was going around, and I didn't. So you want to try and hide that big starting knot. I think we go to the back, and I'm just going to weave that in and out of the stitches a bit. And sorry, it's dark, hard to see, but if you've seen how I started this morning with this yarn, you would be very thankful that I changed yarn. And then I'm just going to hide it inside. You could tie it, you could weave it a bit up in here if you want, back and forth. If you're worried about it coming back out. And cut that. I guess while we got the darning needle out, we might as well do our sculpting on our face, and I'm just using the piece I just cut off when I did my arm. It is, I don't know, probably about a little over a foot long. That should be more than enough. If not, grab a chunk of yarn. And you want to have the same color as your head. I'm going to start somewhere in the middle. And I'm going to go over to this hole right here, kind of diagonal at a 45 from the center of the eye. So I'm going to come up that stitch. Leave a little bit of a tail for tying. And then I'm going to go straight under the eye over one bar of stitches. I don't know, can you see that? So I'm going around this stitch to the bottom of the eye. And then I'm going to come straight down out just above the neck here. Maybe just one row higher. Don't pull this too tight because you might want to play with it yet. And then you're going to find, so I'm basically right in a line from where I put this stitch to the neck. So you want to go from this eye kind of right down. So you want to be coming back in on that stitch right there. Where was it? Was it here? Sorry, this is going to be confusing, but so you're going to go down over the next stitch, come up if you have enough stitches to do it, and then go back down. If you don't have enough stitches, just go straight across and then go in to that hole. But if you have enough stitches, do it like this, and then you can kind of hide that string at the neck. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I thought I was going to do this quick. if I didn't have to explain, it would have gone, it does go actually quite a bit quicker. So if you've done this before, even though I change the way I do it almost every time. So now you're going to go up in here to that bottom stitch of the eye that matches where you went in here. And then you're going to take this stitch at the 45-degree angle that matches this stitch here. And you're just going to come back up where you started. I don't know, I made something simple look so hard. And then you're just going to kind of push on your eyes, pull down on the neck, and then just kind of pull that nice and tight. Give it a little bit of a tie. So you've just kind of started the sculpting, but you're not quite done yet. And it will look a little funny. It didn't look person-y, it looked more creature-y. But give it a pull, and then once you get doing the other stuff, this relaxes a bit, and it will look a little more like a face. Unless you like it like this. I think it looks cuter like this, but we want it to look, well, maybe we want it to look more like a mermaid. So it should look kind of like this. The eyes are brought in. There's a bit of a bump around the nose, and this part is kind of puffed out. And if you want, you can take another chunk of thread and just go over that a couple of times just to make sure it's secure. If you don't want to have it relax on, oh my gosh, have it relax on you. This one got a bigger thing. Oh yeah, it does. If I could use it. Okay, and then you're just going to pull that down and through out the back somewhere. And if you have a bit of a hole here, you can just kind of push and squeeze, and it'll kind of close that back up. Alright, I need another little chunk of purple. Now we're going to do the nose. And where did I go on here? So I went, so I think we put the eyes about here. So I'm going to go down 1 or 2 rows. I'm 1 row right here under the eye. So right about there. So just kind of in the center between your eyes. And I think is that center? I think I'm going to make it 4 stitches apart. So from the center I went 1, 2. So 1, 2. And then I'm going to go over 1, 2. This nose is going to be a little bit bigger than my other one, just because where my center ended up. But you can make it as wide as or as narrow as you want. Just don't pull it too tight so you're spreading the stitches out. And you're just going to go around and around, I don't know, 4 to 6 times. However many times you want, so you can kind of tell it's there. I think I'm going to go 1 more time. And then you're going to come out on the other side and go down where you started. And then you're gently going to tie that because you don't want to pull the stitches on your nose. Just nice and gentle. And then your last one you could probably do a little tighter. And then you're going to thread those out the back. If you don't have a lot of thread, you might want to hold on to your nose so you don't pull it when you're trying to get to the other side. What's happening here? Doesn't want to go through. There we go. Huh. That was weird. Look how much it pulled that down. You don't want that. Must have been a little lump in my stuffing or something. So cut that gently, don't pull too hard. Then decide what color of mouth you want. I think I'm going to go with black because the eyes are black, but you can do pink or color to match your tail. Suggestion with that though is I went light on the mouth on this one, like these eyebrows, and it didn't really show up that great. So decide how, keep taking my pin away, I should just keep it here. So decide where your center is, and you're going to go over a couple of stitches. I'm making my mouth on these wide. So you're going to come down below, go up where you want your mouth to start, and I'm going just kind of where the eye is dipped there. Leave a little bit of a tail. And then go over to about the matching 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So it should be about here or here. And then just go down where you started. And I don't know what's happening with these ones, but whatever I'm doing, it's almost making a bit of a, like this line is almost a curve. So if you pull it into the line of the stitching, it kind of makes the mouth the shape I want it. So you're going to do the same as the nose, give that a tie but not too tight. And then you're going to pull that out the back. So just gently fix your little hole. And you'll even see as I'm making the face, it's starting to look more people-y than creature-y. You definitely want to push that one in because it was black. And we'll show through. And then we'll do some eyebrows. So I'm going to use black for the eyebrows on this one. So you're going to go just above the eye. Sometimes I go one row up, so it'll look like this. And then sometimes I go 2 rows up. So just wherever you want to go. And I think I'm going to go 1 row up on this one. So I'm just in line with the front of my eye, so I want to come here and be kind of in line with the front of the eye on the other side. Like that. Then I'm going to go over about 3 holes and then down. So 1, 2, 3, and then down. But you can just check before to make sure you're happy, and yep, I'm okay with that. And then come out in the center somewhere. Whoop. Make sure you have enough string for this side. And then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to go 1, 2, 3 and down. Just kind of have a look. They're fairly even. And then you're going to come around to the center where you went out with the other eyebrow. Careful again not to pull these too tight. Give them a tie and then pull them out the back. And again, pull them gently. All right, the whites of the eyes, I guess. So grab your white. And we're going to do this the same way we did the eyebrows. So I usually start here or here. For these ones, I'm going to start at the top of the eye, kind of to the outside, and then find my matching stitch over here. So kind of on the top of the eye to the outside. Then I'm going to go down 1, 2 stitches, or 2 rows, sorry. So 1, 2, and I'm going to get in there, and I'm going to come, am I going to come out? Yeah. I'm just going to come out in the center somewhere. Don't pull this hard, because sometimes you can lose the whole string under the eyebrow. So it's good to have a lot of string on this one when you're doing it. Thread your other string and go exactly the same, down a row, and then in to that stitch right along the eye and up where you came out from the other one. Now just give them a gentle little tug. And this time be very, very careful when you're tying them. What kind of a knot is that? There we go. That one I didn't even pull, I just got it right level. This one I'll pull a little bit, and then the last one I'll give quite a firm pull, but just kind of watch that I'm not moving the stitches. And then you're going to hide them out the back. Again, very careful not to pull on the whites of your eyes. You just put in there. And then fix your little hole. your strings. Where did I pull that out of? Well, I can't see it, so I guess it's in there good enough. So I think we'll do the little top next. If you're doing a girl, if you're doing a boy, you can skip the next part. Okay, for the top, we're just going to make a little piece like this. You want to leave a little bit of a tail, enough that you can wrap it around the body on one side and tie it in a bow. Make your knot with the loop on the end, because we're going to start with a chain. And you're going to chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And in the second chain from the hook, you're going to do 1 single crochet. Then in the next 2 stitches, you're going to do double crochets. So yarn over into that next chain, grab your yarn, pull up and through. You'll have your 3 loops on the hook. Grab your yarn, go through the first 2 loops, grab your yarn again, and go through the last 2 loops. So that was 1, and we're going to do another one. And then we're going to do a slip stitch. And then we're going to do 2 single or double crochets over the next 2 stitches. So 1 double crochet and 2 double crochets, and then a single crochet in that last chain. Now we are going to turn our work around, so we're now going to be working on the back side of the stitches, and we're going to put a slip stitch in that same stitch we were just in. So there's our stitch right there. Back in there with the slip stitch, and in that same stitch a single crochet. Then we're going to mirror what we did on this side. So we're going to do 2 double crochets. So 1, 2, and then slip stitch opposite of our last slip stitch on the other side. And then we're going to do 2 double crochets. One, 2, and then in this last stitch we're going to do a single crochet and a slip stitch. And then you're going to tie that off and leave again another length of a tail that you can wrap around the other side and tie in a bow. So it should look about like this. And then you're just going to grab another chunk of purple. I don't know, about 1.5 feet is lots. Decide what side you want on the front. And I want this side on the front. You're going to wrap that around the center a couple of times. Turn it over and tie it in the back. Make sure you have enough string on each side that you can weave those ends in. You're kind of making it more defined, 2 circles. I thought about tying it on the front and making a bow, but it's so tiny that I think, unless you had like embroidery thread or something, I think the bow will just be a little too much. But definitely, if you want to try it, go for it. And then you're just going to weave these ends a couple times in the back side. And you can weave them as much or as little as you want. For the tutorial, I'm just going to go back and forth once and then cut my end. I thought I did the tying string there for a second and cut it. I'll do the other side. Don't pull it too tight because you want a bit of length in your top. And I know I'm not doing a great job here. I'm just trying to go quick. So your job is to do a better job than I did. Alright. And then you're just going to tie that on. If you want to make it a little more secure, when you get to the back or on the side, you just can go use your darning needle and go under a stitch and come back up, maybe under the arms or right here before you tie it. And I'm just going to tie a little bow in mine because it's probably just going to sit on my table. There, and then we're almost done. Alright, I think we're going to do the hair next. So grab whatever colors. I'm going to use purple from my tail and then a darker purple. I was going to use white, but I think I want it to be purple and purple. And black would be too dark to go, like I did with this one. So what you're going to do, fold your hair in half and just kind of see where you want it to hang. For me, I used my phone. So mine was about to where her waist is. If you want longer hair, just keep on going. And then when you find the length you want doubled over, find whatever you need to wrap around. A book works really good, but for the length I'm going for, I'm just using my phone. So you're going to just hold it at the bottom, and I'm doing 2 strands at a time, and you're just going to wrap around. I think to start I did 30 times, and then if I needed more, I just did a few more at a time. So really I'm gonna have 60 strands here if I do 30 times. Don't forget that if you're using 2 colors. And then, so I cut the end here that matches this end, and then I'm just gonna come in, whoop, and cut the rest of the strings down by the bottom. Well, that's good for my phone case, I bet. Ooh, yeah, I scratched it. Anyway. And now you're going to find your center. And you're going to start going around in a spiral. And if you're using 2 colors,
you are going to alternate. So I think I'm going to start right where my last decrease was there. So you're just going to go down through the center and out under that row. I'm going to start with purple or dark purple. And you're just going to grab it doubled, pull it through, and then grab your end and pull it through that loop you just made. So just like that. And just keep going around and around till you're happy with it. I think I went to about here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 rows. Actually, I might only did 4. And then if you want, you can do a few more in the back. And then when I did the little V's, I'm not going to do them all with you, but I'm just going to show you. So you'll want a lot longer string than what I have. And all I did was I followed the V's of stitches. So I found my center, and then I would go over. Whoops. You'll want to leave a little piece hanging out to tie it on. Whoopsie. I'm not doing very good here. So I just made little V's, and then I'd go over to the next stitch, and then I'd follow this V, and just do as many or as little as you want, or don't do it at all. And when you're done with how many you want, you're just going to come back out where you started, and then you're going to tie that and put it through the back. Okay, oh, I didn't do this, but another thing you can do, which might be cute, is put some little stripes on the arm. So go through the side, out the side, or however you want. All the way around would be nice too. And you just do that and go into your next row. Out the other side. And just follow the rows up. Do 3 or 4 maybe. You can decide where you come in and out. I think that's it. I'm going to finish this off camera, hopefully. My Michael Myers still has no hair on his head when I said that. When you have all your hair done, also, what I do is I pulled it all straight, kind of held it on a cockeyed angle and just kind of jiggled it and let the hair fall however it wanted. And that'll kind of give you a nice little look. So, thanks for watching. If you enjoy my videos and want to see more, make sure you hit the subscribe button and you'll be notified every time I load a new video. If you see anything in the background that you're interested in making, I have a tutorial for everything there. If you just click on my channel, you can click all videos and that will take you into everything that I have on here. Also, I do have a Facebook craft page that will be linked down in the description. If you want to share anything you've made with me, you don't have to join or follow or anything. You can just go right there, and at the top, pinned, there is a YouTube share kind of looking button, and then just go in the comments and hit the little camera thing, and you can leave a picture. So thanks for watching, and happy crocheting.